Last night in Chicago, rookie Adam Pletko showed off nerves of steel. He had some early issues with the walks, but he did not allow a hit until the 7th inning. And then he turned it over to the bullpen, and they nailed down a 1-0 Indians victory as the Tribe swept the 2-game series from the Cubs in Chi-Town. Tonight, the Indians are back home, welcoming in the defending world champion Houston Astros. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside former Indians Gold Glove center fielder Rick Manning. This was a great matchup a weekend ago in Houston. 3 games, all well played, hard fought. Houston eked out a series win, taking 2 out of 3. Now the Indians get him for 4 here at home, and we've got a rematch on the mound, which turned out to be a good ball game the last time around. Mike Clevenger, Charlie Morton.
And they were both undefeated at that point in time, and they're going to match up again. Last Friday night they went at it. Clevenger pitched a very good ball game. He went 6 1/3. His mistake, he went out into the 7th inning, walked the first 2 guys. They both came around to score. He ended up letting in 1. The bullpen let up another. But I'm sure he's going to learn from that start, so he gets a chance to, do it again one more time. And Charlie Morton, what a year he's having. This guy, the only undefeated pitcher in the American League. He's 6-0. He beat the Indians. He went 7 innings, only 4 hits allowed. This guy is so good. Right now, left-handed hitters hitting just 118 off him, and the Indians have 7 lefties in that lineup tonight. And you can see the records, you can see the ERAs. Both these pitchers have been pitched very well for their teams, and it's going to be another showdown tonight.
Yeah, Morton does not appear to have any weaknesses at all. We'll see what the Indians can do here tonight. It's baseball's only matchup tonight among division leaders as the Central Division leading Tribe takes on the Western Division leading Houston Astros. We'll be back with the play-by-play. We'll have the showstopper with Alan Jensen, and we'll check in with Andre Knott straight ahead. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. And by Cleveland Clinic Express Care online. Tap the app for 24/7 virtual visits.
Manager Terry Francona has his club in first place by 2 games over the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everybody. Welcome into center field along with Jensen Lewis. Al Pulowski. Let's take a look at our showstopper for tonight, and those guys are the Angels. Today, big win, 8-1. Mike Trout, his 15th home run of the season as the Angels throttle the Jays.
Yeah, they put up 4 in the 9th and held on for dear life last night against the Blue Jays. A comeback victory, and it was out of control today offensively. Shohei Ohtani, a couple of big days for the Angels, and well, after a brief skid for them, they're back in the hunt here in this division. I mean, you see Oakland only 6.5 back of front-running Houston, but Seattle's surprise team, they're only 2 back.
Yeah, very competitive American League West. Some years in the past, we didn't see a very competitive West, just the East and the Central. This year, it's the East and the West, and the Central is not very competitive.
It'll be interesting, too, because Texas already saying they may be selling some of those veteran pieces. Cole Hamels, Adrian Beltre, a couple of guys to keep your eye on for the Tribe.
All right, let's set it upstairs now to the men calling tonight's game between the Indians and the Astros. Here are Matt and Rick.
All right, thank you, Al and Jensen. The Indians come in tonight 24-23. Their lead over Minnesota, 2 games in the AL Central. And then Detroit still hanging around, just 4 games back in 3rd place. The Indians have won back-to-back games. Meanwhile, Houston rolling in here, winners of 3 straight, 8 of 10. And they lead the AL West by a couple of games over the Seattle Mariners. Well, we mentioned it at the top of the telecast. It's a rematch in the series, and it's a rematch of the matchup between Mike Clevenger and Charlie Morton. For more on that, we go downstairs to Andre Knott with our Hear Right sounds of the game.
Thank you very much, Matt. For Mike Clevenger, he's excited for this rematch. Who has the better side of the rematch? We're going to find that out over the next 2.5 to 3 hours. But one thing Mike Clevenger was happy about last week after his start, he didn't feel like he had his best stuff. And we always talk about with pitchers maturing, they mature when they can get through 6-7 innings without their best stuff. And here's what Mike thinks he needs to do tonight to get the victory versus the Astros.
I mean, there's pros and cons. I mean, pros, I got to show them something the first time, but I mean, con, I got to show myself the first time, and the pro is, you know, I can build off of that and change the strategy on what I did, where I went wrong, and, you know, it's fresh memory, so I know exactly what their lineup, know the scouting report, stuff like that.
I know after your last start, you talked about your changeup not being where you wanted it. What does it say to you as a pitcher that you can be successful still and not have maybe a pitch that you've relied on most of the season?
I mean, that's especially comfortable going into, you know, facing this team again, because like I didn't have one of my best weapons, so it's almost like a good building block, a confidence builder to go into it with, like knowing I have another weapon to use against them I didn't have the first time.
You know, some pitchers, Matt, they don't like to pitch against that same team at back-to-back starts, but these 2 guys are going to go at it, and if they, you know, if you had some success, you stay with it.
And let's face it, this is a good Houston Astros lineup. It's very balanced. They maybe don't have one guy with some gaudy numbers, but boy, there just aren't very many weaknesses. Not a lot of holes in that lineup. Nowhere where a pitcher can kind of take a breath and take it easy.
No, you can't take it easy. They're a very good, and they're not firing on all cylinders like they did last year offensively. They're primarily a pitching club. They're number 1 in starters. They're number 1 in the bullpen. So if they, you know, they hit better on the road than they do at home, I will say that. Much better than they do, and that's hard to believe. But Mike Clevenger's ready. He's going to take the mound. He will be the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher for the Tribe tonight, and Clev making his 10th start on the year. He was undefeated until his last start against Houston. He didn't pitch badly at all. 6 1/3, 8 hits, 3 runs. The bullpen gave up a run of his, and when he walked 2 guys in the 7th inning, he gave up a solo home run early, but the 4 walks hurt him, so I bet he's going to be a little more aggressive tonight. Let's certainly hope so. He's 1-2 in his career in 3 starts against Houston, and I think right now just match zeros with Morton as long as you can until your offense can get going.
For A.J. Hinch and the Houston Astros, their starting lineup tonight, George Springer will lead it off. Alex Bregman, riding a 7-game hitting streak, will bat in the 2-hole. Then Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Marwin Gonzalez, and Yuli Gurriel in the middle third. Then Brian McCann, who had that big Sunday night homer against the Indians that helped the Astros take the series. Jake Marisnick back in the lineup. He's hitting 8th, and Tony Kemp will hit 9th.
And defensively for the Indians, it'll be brought to you by Jeep. It looks like this. Brantley, Allen, and Cabrera are the outfielders. It'll be Ramirez and Lindor on the left side. Kipnis, Alonso on the right. Roberto Perez behind the plate tonight.
Bill Welke, the crew chief, will call the balls and strikes. James Hoy at first. Lance Barrett at second. Tony Randazzo down at third.
Mike Clevenger in his last start at home was against Kansas City, his first home win on the season. 7 2/3 innings, 8 hits, a couple of runs. And I'm curious to watch him match up against this Astro team again, because he's trying to take things, you know, every start, one start at a time, and see how he responds to the way he pitched his last outing.
No question about it.
And they have a lot of respect for him. The Astros do as a pitcher and as a team.
Now Clevenger, 9th in the American League in earned run average. And it's hard to believe that last night was, or the last time out, he suffered the loss for the first time as a starter since July of a year ago. That's the kind of run that he had been on, and it really is still on. He pitched into the 7th inning. It was a 1-1 game.
Right.
He walked the first 2 guys. He ran out of gas. And that ended up costing him. We are underway here in downtown Cleveland. 74 degrees at game time. Boy, is this nice. The line of the pitch. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. He has Springer down 0-2. Springer, a very good leadoff man. He leads the Astros with 10 home runs. That one got away.
I like that pitch. He took Clev deep in that ball game. Remember, he got it into the Crawford boxes on an inside fastball that wasn't really smoked.
No one has hit more leadoff home runs since the start of the 2016 campaign than George Springer. 20 times he's led off a game with a home run since the start of the 16 campaign. He has 3 so far this year. That's tied for the major league lead.
Yeah, just ask Cole Hamels. 2 of them have come off him.
Well, I would imagine, unless you're not paying attention, if you're a starting pitcher, you don't just lay one in there first pitch of the game against a guy like this.
No, no way.
In the meantime, he had him 0-2. Now it's 3-2. And he walked him. So from 0-2 to a walk for George Springer.
Now, I told you this is a Houston offense away from home. They're averaging 5.5 runs a game. At home, just 4. They're hitting for a higher average. Runners in scoring position on the road 284, at home 225. So they don't mind hitting away from their ballpark.
A.J. Hinch, not a guy that's going to turn his leadoff man loose. George Springer has just 1 steal on the year. He's been caught a couple of times.
That steal came against us last weekend when it was really, I think it was 1st and 3rd, and they just gave it to him.
Alex Bregman takes a strike. He's hit in 7 straight, going 9 for his last 25. And against the Indians last weekend, he went 4 for 12 with a home run. Breaking ball and a beauty. So once again, he's 0-2. Two-strike pitch. A little low. The Astros have grounded into 42 double plays this year. That's the 4th most in the American League.
Yeah. Well, right now, Mike Clevenger, you don't want to start nibbling. 2nd straight hitter, he's had 0-2. Be a little more aggressive, and they're going to have to swing the bat.
Now Clevenger with a 1-2 pitch, and he's out looking. Alex Bregman caught staring at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball for out number 1.
For the Astros, batting 3rd, the second baseman, number 27,
Check this pitch out on our Nissan pitch tracker. It's right there at the knees. A very well located fastball. Gets the call from Bill Welke, and he gets the first out.
Now here is Jose Altuve. He has the American League's best road batting average. He's hitting .379 away from Minute Maid Park. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and again, Perez can't get the ball in the transfer. We have seen that happen time and time
They're
again.
rushing. As catchers, they're rushing because they take pride in their throwing. But I'll tell you what, in this last road trip, I've seen that happen 4 or 5 times from the catchers where they're, you know, the guy had a good jump, but they're trying to get rid of it too quickly, and in the transfer, they're not even getting it into the bare hand. So that'll go for the second stolen base for Springer.
So Altuve down on the count 0-1. Looks at a pitch outside.
You know, and it's not bad when you're on first base and you have this guy at the plate if you want to take off early in the count, because he doesn't take anyway. If he sees a good fastball, he's going to go ahead and swing it. So he may find a hole and you can just go first or third.
Now the 1-1 out of play. So 3 hitters, and all 3 Clevenger has been able to get ahead of early in the count. Reached for it and fouls it off. The Indians are a very good fast starting team. When they get runs early in the game, that plays right into their strong suit. The Astros are different in that they might not get clicking until the middle innings, but they've outscored their opposition by almost 50 runs in innings 4, 5, and 6.
And here's one reason why I think it could be like that, because this was a really good offense last year, this Houston team. Their pitching has been so good that they don't have to score early, and so they don't kick it in gear till they really need to, as he did.
Off the bat into the mitt of Roberto Perez. Back-to-back strikeouts for Clevenger. Almost like Art says, a relaxed confidence for the Astros hitters early in the game.
You know, they let their pitchers go out and deal, and then, you know, if they score, they will. They know they're going to score eventually. That's a good fastball by Clevenger, because Altuve, he wanted to take it, he wanted to swing. It ends up going off the bat and back-to-back strikeouts.
And so 2 down now. Carlos Correa. Told you Jose Altuve has the league's best road batting average. This guy's right behind him, has the second best average on the road in the American League. Correa leads the Astros with 32 runs batted in.
Well, he's sitting in that number 4 hole in the catbird seat with Altuve, Springer, Bregman in front of him. So, you know, they get on base, and
there are plenty of opportunities.
yes, opportunities are there, no doubt.
Fastball inside corner, called a strike. Evens the count of 1-1. No shift for the Indians, though the center fielder Allen shades Correa a bit toward right. Another good pitch. And again, Mike Clevenger is ahead of the hitter. So he's been ahead. Getting ahead has not been a problem for Mike here in this first inning. The only issue he had is he had Springer down 0-2 and then 4 straight to walk him. Then he got Bregman down, struck him out. Altuve down, struck him out. Now the 1-2 on its way to Correa. Slowed it down off the plate to even it up.
first.
And now Clevenger delivers, and he strikes him out. So how do you like that? Mike Clevenger, after walking Springer, strikes out the next 3 Astros. Bregman down looking. Altuve with a little foul tip, and Correa goes hacking.
Morton, who is the Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher for the Astros, 34-year-older, riding a career-long 9-game winning streak. He's 6-0 this year. That dates back to middle of September of last year.
Francisco Lindor leads off, takes a look at a pitch that's called a strike. Frankie was held in check by the Astros last weekend in Houston. He went 1 for 13. And that's a real tip of the cap, if you will, to the Houston pitching staff, because I'm sure in their meetings before the series they identified Lindor as being on fire, and they realized in order to control the Indians offense you got to keep him off base, and they did.
Well, that's the pitch right there, the curveball for him. It's almost unhittable, and especially it's a left-handed hitters. He's given up just 5 hits on his curveball this season. That's how good he has been. And left-handers hitting just 118 off him on the year.
Breaking ball hit the second, and Altuve will flip it over to first, 1 down. Here's the rest of the Tribe starting 9 for Terry Francona, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Michael Brantley in the 2-hole. Jose Ramirez batting 3rd. Edwin Encarnacion gets cleanup. Yonder Alonso bats 5th. Melky Cabrera, switch hitter, will hit 6th. Then Jason Kipnis, followed by Roberto Perez and Greg Allen. That's 9th. Michael Brantley is riding a 12-game hitting streak coming into tonight's action. And with that shift, he was going to try to steal a hit, just bump one over there to the left of the pitcher's mound, to no avail. Brantley is now 2nd in the American League in batting average, trailing only Mookie Betts of Boston.
Well, he's been on a pretty good tear on that 12-game hitting streak. He's been in that number 2 hole for what, 11 games, or not many more than that.
Yeah, 11.
All right, guys, I know that this is early in the game, but with the way the Astros you play defense, would you guys be all right with the top guys in the Indians order bunting against them to try to make them move a little bit?
I don't, yeah.
Frankie, I mean, Bregman, he's basically playing shortstop.
I see that. I would have no problem with it if they want to. Go ahead.
Out looking.
That's Morton, what happens when you get to 2 strikes.
With his 71st strikeout of the year and now 56 innings of work.
It's at the Astros defense. It's the best defense in the league, rated #1. They've made only 15 errors. So in the outfield, it's Kemp in left, Marisnick in center, Springer is in right. Bregman at third, Correa at short, Altuve is at second, Gonzalez at first, and McCann doing the catching.
Up is Jose Ramirez. They have the three-man shift right side of the infield, but Bregman in on the grass at the what would essentially be the shortstop position.
I'm telling you about Morton's curveball, but the other side of that coin, he's got a fastball at 97. So, you know, if you sit on that breaking ball and you don't get it, you can't catch up to the fastball. And that curveball is, you know, it's the variation or the speed coming off of that compared to his fastball is unbelievable.
The 1-1. There's that back leg breaking ball.
That's from 80 miles an hour to 97. And he averages 97, trailing just Luis Severino with the Yankees, who's at 98.
2-1 pitch. Just a bit outside.
And, oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you, he's got that split change right there.
3-1 count. Now Bregman backing up. Between the infielders and Correa with a dynamite play. He had to avoid Altuve, make the play, and then spin and throw. And it's all done like a ballerina, if you will. And the inning is over as the Indians go 1-2-3.
Live at home or on the go with MLB TV. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on all your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply.
No score. Second inning. Marwin Gonzalez will lead it off for Houston. He's been something of a thorn in the Indian side in his career. 30 games he's played against the Indians. And he's batted .309 with 7 home runs. Down on the dirt.
Gonzalez is their utility guy. He can play first. He can play the infield. We played some left field last weekend in Houston when we were there. That's the pitch Clev's looking for tonight, that changeup. He's been 0-2 or 1-2 to all 5 hitters tonight. But he's trying to make that perfect pitch, and they haven't been offering early.
Swung on and missed. Mike Clevenger has fanned 4 in a row.
He came back with it, though. He came back with the changeup. This one a little harder than normal. You can see the grip. That circle change, beautiful location. He got the swing and the miss there.
Now Yuli Gurriel at the Astros designated hitter. He went 5 for 12 against the Indians last weekend.
There's that curveball right there that I like, that I think is really going to help Club this year. It's lower than his slider.
Right back with the fastball to put him in the hole 0-2. The Indians starting pitching has been much better here of late. I mean, they've been good all season long. They had one stretch there where they struggled, but when you look at what they've done in terms of trying to get deeper into games, 23 times an Indian starter has gone 7 or more this year. Only the Astros have more, and that's only one more starts of 7 innings or more. 2-2, just missed low. And when Clevenger faced the Astros in Houston, he went into the 7th inning before he left that ball game.
Well, there's one off the plate, a little low.
Over their last 11 games, this is where the offense has really been picking it up and swinging the bats well. The pitching staff is also, the starters in particular, have been very good. Their ERA is 2.61, and they've gone 6 2/3 innings per start. Ground ball in the hole. And that'll get through. First hit of the game for the Astros as Gurriel reaches with a 1-out single.
You look at Mike Clevenger and his pitch distribution. The fastball 51% of the time. That slider is 21. The changeup 17, but I bet as the year goes along that curveball may come up a little bit, because that's a good pitch for him to really slow it down off some hitters, even the left-handers. You can bounce the ball in front when you get to 2 strikes.
Brian McCann takes a strike. McCann only had 1 hit last weekend against the Indians, but it was a big one. A 2-run 7th inning homer off Carlos Carrasco that gave the Astros the win.
Yeah, 1 changeup. He left up in the zone a little bit. Right here, you want to get McCann to just roll over on one and hit it to the right side of that infield. They'll be able to turn 2. Been a good catcher for a long time.
Weekly bounced toward the dugout. We talked about this when we were down in Houston. He's in a very select group.
Yeah, but 1,500 games.
Only 30 catchers in the history of the game have played 1,500 games behind the plate. He's one of them.
his fault. You got to be durable. You have to have some good fortune, and you have to be able to produce. Now the 1-2. Jam shot popped up infield.
Switch it. There you go.
Lets it drop. They go to second.
There you go.
They get the speedier runner. Gurriel retired and leave the catcher at first.
Nothing wrong with that play. You could tell that he was going to do that. He was looking down and looking where he was running, and McCann was running, but why not switch it?
Was it Detroit Iglesias that just did that recently against the Indians?
Yes, when we had one of our catchers running. Exactly. Just drop it. You get the faster runner off the base, make the catcher run. Not a bad play at all.
Jake Marisnick. Marisnick got off to a brutal start. He was down at AAA. Just called up last night. He was sent out for just about a week. And when you think about it, Marisnick in 34 games is at 141 with the Astros, but in a week at AAA he hit 286. So they must have felt like, well, he got his confidence going, maybe ironed a few things out. But once again, Mike Clevenger working ahead in the count. Always important for a pitcher, in particular a starting pitcher, to try to get ahead. You can expand the zone of the hitter, make him chase. And Clevenger has already struck out 4 in the game. Slapped out of play. Again, the 1-2. Took the sting out of the bat. Fly ball routine right field. Melky Cabrera puts it away. No runs, a hit, a man left. Middle of the second, no score in Cleveland. Our storylines tonight are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. The Indians are leading the majors in runs scored in the month of May, averaging better than 6 per ball game. But the Astros lead the majors in ERA. So it's the old irresistible force versus the immovable object. Edwin Encarnacion, Yonder Alonso, Melky Cabrera for the Indians here in the second. Pulled foul. Edwin is 0 for his last 10 at the plate. But against the Astros last weekend, he went 3 for 10 with a homer in that series. And it was a booming opposite field shot. And it was off Charlie Morton. But it didn't happen until the 7th inning. But when it did, it tied the game at 1. Swung on and missed. Breaking ball. Takes care of Edwin. 1 down in the second.
For the drive, the first baseman, number 17.
Our Kia drive to success, the fewest runs allowed in the first 50 games. Houston Astros have given up just 86 by their starting staff. So they put themselves in some rarefied air.
That's pretty impressive.
Yonder Alonso taking advantage of the shift.
There you go.
And he's got a bunt single. The Indians have their first hit, first base runner.
You're going to give it? Why not take it? Brantley was trying to do that earlier, and you know, if some of those players feel, make them get off the mound. If they're going to give me that base, and what Yonder did here, he just made sure he put the ball down first before he started to run. And that's the way you bunt the ball. You don't get out of the batter's box, put it down, then you can run, and an easy infield single for Alonso.
And now that forces Bregman to have to come in at third, and he's on the grass for Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, you bring him in until you get to that 2 strikes, and then you can go back. But also what that does, if you hit it just a step or 2 to his left or right and hit it with a little authority or hard, you can get it by him because he's in. Normally he'd like to be back on the dirt another 5 or 10 feet.
Missed inside. Melky Cabrera 3 out of 9 with a homer against Charlie Morton.
Well, Charlie Morton was a different pitcher when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was more of a sinker baller, sinker slider guy, and he was throwing 92 maybe from guys that faced him back then, and the Indians beat him twice when he was over there. But since Houston's acquired him, that fastball is up to 97. That curveball is unbelievable. He's a different guy. He's not the same pitcher.
Taken all the way, Melky Cabrera looks at a strike. And a foul back, full count. When Charlie Morton first debuted with the Pirates in '09, after he was traded from Atlanta, he was a guy that had a live arm, could get a lot of swings and misses, but didn't have a lot of success. And then 2 years later, that's when they completely remade him. And he relied heavily on the sinker, earned the nickname Ground Chuck. But it still didn't really stick because and the injury bug hit him. He had Tommy John surgery. Eventually the Pirates gave up on him. They shipped him to Philadelphia. And then Morton reinvented himself again. He said, the heck with this sinker stuff. I'm just going to go out and throw as hard as I can. But the injury bug blew his hamstring out. Only pitched 4 games for the Phillies. And then the Astros jumped on the wagon. Cabrera fouls this out of play. And that's where you're talking about. In 2015, Charlie Morton's average fastball was just under 93 miles an hour. 2 years later, that average fastball velocity was 96. Now it is over 97.
Yeah, not many guys are in their 30s. Do you see them leap up like 4 or 5 miles an hour with their fastball?
The 3-2. And another pitch popped to the left. Is this playable, though? Kemp makes the catch in foul ground, and there are 2 down. I mean, it has to make some people sort of scratch their head and try and figure out how in the world does a guy at age 34 increase velocity up to 97 miles an hour. And to further illustrate the point, the top 6 average fastball velocities recorded this year, not recorded, but the guys who average have the best average velocity in baseball. Luis Severino, Noah Syndergaard, Shohei Ohtani, the guy from Atlanta, I can't remember how you pronounce his name. Is it Fultonevich?
Oh, yeah, Fultonevich, yes.
And then Garrett Cole. Those guys average. The average age of those 5 pitchers is 25. And this guy is 34.
Right. So almost. It is. It's like, all right, what's this guy doing? I'm sure people are thinking, what's he doing? Is he cheating or what?
How do you increase velocity?
I don't know.
Now, to his point, he said, I just went out and started throwing hard. Instead of maybe trying to be a sinker guy and instead of trying to finesse it.
Well, maybe he's healthy. He comes back, and you mentioned he had the Tommy John, he had the hamstring, he had everything, but still, you don't see many guys. We've seen guys go from starter to the bullpen and increase a couple mile an hour, you know, from the bullpen, because you're only going to throw an inning. You may only see a few hitters, and you can just cut it loose. But not as average as a starter. You don't see it go up.
0-2 swung on and missed. Morton has struck out 3. And we have 2 scoreless innings here at Progressive Field. Well, I guess tomorrow we're going to keep the series rolling, huh? Astros, Indians.
Well, and you can start your weekend off right tomorrow night. Dollar Dog Night. Stay for Songs of Summer. It's a themed fireworks display presented by Sports Clip. Go to Indians.com for the tickets.
Feels like summer. Hopefully see some big crowds this weekend as the Indians host the defending world champs. Tony Kemp, rookie left fielder, 6 out of 15 since his call-up. He had a day to remember. On Tuesday against San Francisco, he had 5 runs batted in, only the 4th player in Astros history to drive in 5 runs as the number 9 hitter in the lineup. Jake Marisnick did it last year. Hank Conger did it twice a couple of years ago. And Dave Justy, who was a little pitcher back in 1966. How about that?
In the 9th spot. There you go.
Let's go down to Andre.
Oh, and the last night for Mike Clevenger, he gave up a home run to George Springer. We talked about it afterwards because he got in that Crawford box. So after the game, I asked him, I said, were you mad about that home run? Because I saw you chuckle. And he said, you know me. I take this personal, and I was not happy about it. But he said, when I saw where it landed and I saw where the ball hit the bat, he goes, that's exactly what I wanted to do with it. And he goes, and I just learned in that moment, I can't get too high or too low when I make my pitch. These guys get paid too. But it was because usually with Mike, he gets frustrated if he gives up a home run. He says that one, that was a pop-up. He goes, Michael Brantley catches that 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, pitch to the elements sometimes in the ballpark. That's a fair ball just inside the chalk. And where did it go? Melky Cabrera does not come up with the ball. I don't see no signal from the umpire whatsoever. Eventually,
I think it bounced up in the seats.
All right.
I'm guessing.
Let's see.
I was watching Springer. He was going down the line. It's a fastball that leaked inside. Watch the spin on it. Boy, did that just get chalk and goes right into the seats.
I don't know if we get a better look.
Well, they may want to look at that replay again. Clev thought it was foul. They may take a peek at that. I'll tell you, that was close.
All right. Tito,
no, we're good.
No challenge.
No, we're good. Let's take a look. See if it gets chalk. Even if that ball hits the outside part of it. Yeah, I don't think you want to waste that.
So a 1-out double for George Springer. And Alex Bregman, who was called out on strikes in the first inning, the hitter. Low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Slow breaking ball just outside, and Bregman able to lay off. Well, the Indians just concluded a 3-city 10-day road trip and did not arrive back in Cleveland until almost 2 o'clock in the morning. But it feels like the crowd was the one that got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, everybody's just
during a nice hot summer night.
A little high. 3-1. Well, that was a pretty good pitch. Just maybe a ball width up out of the zone.
Well, you can see Perez trying to break it back down and frame it a little bit, but it was above that line.
1 out walk, second issued by Clevenger. 2 on, 1 out, and now you've got Jose Altuve.
At the plate now for Houston.
Altuve struck out in the first. But Altuve is a guy who has been a terrific hitter for a long time. Just recently, on Tuesday, played his 1,000th career game at second base. And he's only the 3rd Astro to play 1,000 games at second base. Joining Craig Biggio and Bill Doran.
Yeah, remember both those guys very well. Now this is a guy that does damage with runners in scoring position too, boy. You get him in there, 395 hitter in this situation.
Swung on and missed. It's 0-2.
He has not had a problem getting hitters down to the count 0-2 tonight, that's for sure.
Oh, 0-2, 1-2.
He's
had a
been
number
very
of
good.
Pinned down. Slow breaking ball. Lindor steps on the bag, throws to first. Inning ending. Double play. Altuve hits into the twin killer. It's been a problem for Houston this year. They've hit into a bunch. And we are scoreless middle of the 3rd. Play that Jose Altuve hit into is the 43rd this year that the Astros have grounded into. That's the 4th most. Only Tampa Bay, Kansas City, and the Angels have grounded into more double plays. And at the other end of the spectrum, the Indians have only hit into 23. That's the fewest in the American League. So here's now Roberto Perez to lead off for the Tribe here in the home half of the 3rd. He'll be followed by Greg Allen and then Francisco Lindor. Line drive, base hit in the left field for Perez.
Well, I think that would be my philosophy against this guy. You know, Morton, if he gives you a first pitch fastball, don't spot it.
Get after a two-seamer that didn't have a ton of movement, and he was able to barrel it up.
Well, it was a two-seamer, 93 miles per hour, but it was elevated a little bit, so just give it to him. He put a good swing on it. Second hit for the Indians. Leadoff man aboard.
I've heard people say, and I don't know if this is recent or if maybe in his past, but I've heard people say that he can throw his two-seamer mid to upper 90s as well. But that looked like, for a guy that throws about 97, that looked like what you would normally expect your two-seamer. A few miles an hour maybe off the four-seamer, but Greg Allen showing bunt. Pulls it back, the pitch is low.
This is one thing that Allen has not been able to do. Now, I don't know if there is a bunt on here for a sacrifice, but he has had a hard time doing it. He's popped it up about 3 times so far this year.
Not showing bunt, taking 2-0. Swing of the bat better. And he shoots one high in the air, left field. Marisnik back on the warning track, runs it down.
You look where he is. He's the center fielder, and he was over in left center field. They played their left fielder so shallow and over to the left field line, so that means as a center fielder, you're way over. He was playing him. Look where he started. Right-handed pull hitter, and that left fielder is barely into your sights right there. And what Allen did right there, he can't hit it much better than that. You got to force him to hit it that way and get it over your head, and didn't do it. He hit it well, but defense beautifully.
So here's Francisco Lindor, grounded out his only time up. He tries to go the other way. That's in the alley.
Yeah,
that'll go to the wall. Roberto Perez on his way to third. He'll stop there. Lindor into second with his 17th double of the year.
He burned him that time because the left fielder was over there playing towards the line, and Lindor put a nice swing and a line drive going the other way. And something he's been doing very, very well recently. He's been going the other way from both sides of the plate. In Chicago the other night, had a double to right as a right-handed hitter, a double to left from a left-handed hitter, and here he go again. Stayed on it, plugs the gap, and the Indians with an opportunity now to get on the board.
Now second and third, one down, and this is where the Indians have been so good in the month of May. They're batting over 300 as a team with runners in scoring position. And you've got one of your best hitters in that same category at the plate.
Yeah, and Michael's 8 out of 9 in situations like this year. And, you know, that curveball would be the pitch to watch for because people have a tough time hitting it.
The 0-1. Grounded up the middle. It's through. Scoring is Perez. Here comes Lindor right on his heels. Throw to the plate, cut off. It's a 2-run single for Michael Brantley, and the Indians strike first.
Well, the right man in the right spot right there. And Brantley, you know, he got enough of it. He placed it beautifully. And the Indians jump up top. That's only the third hit that Charlie Morton has given up to a left-hander on the breaking ball this year. And it's a 2-run RBI, so Cleveland jumps up top. Brantley continues to drive him home. The hitting streak continues. He now has 32 ribbies.
Two behind this guy, Jose Ramirez, for the team lead. First visit to the mound tonight. Brian McCann wants to get on the same page with Morton. Got a dangerous hitter like Ramirez. You don't want to fool around and leave anything a chance if you're the Astros. Michael Brantley now has driven home 22 runs in 20 games this month. And the reason why the offense has been clicking is because of Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez. Rounded to Correa.
Right there, the shift burned them. I mean, they couldn't get a double play ball. They got the out. Nobody was at second base.
Yeah, they don't even get the force. It's not like,
right.
Not only do they not turn the double play, they don't even get the force on the lead runner.
There's Brantley's base hit on that breaking ball. You know, it's at 86 mile an hour. Not that he smoked that pitch, but he hit it in the right spot.
So it came in at 81, it went out at 86. You don't see many that even out that like that. That was almost even Steven. Well, let's see if Edwin can take advantage with an opportunity to drive home Brantley here.
Two out runs. They did a nice job in the first game of Chicago, hitting with 2 outs.
Inside. Encarnacion has 25 runs batted in on the year. 14 of those have come via the home run.
You know, this is only Morton's 3rd start on the road, and he's 1-0 away from home, but he has 5 wins at home.
Oh, it gets away from McCann, and down to third will go Michael Brantley.
Did he take his eye off that ball, or did that bounce? I had a tough time telling.
I almost thought it looked like a cross-up the way he...
It could be. Look at this. All right, it's movement. It's a 2-seamer. That's, yeah, his glove it didn't close. That'll be a pass ball.
He was moving. Did you see how he moved initially, though? Almost like he was expecting that ball to break instead of going the other direction. But it is a pass ball. And a 3-0 count for Edwin. And Yonder Alonso on deck. A.J. Hinch has 3 infielders deployed to the left side of the diamond. Taken all the way, it's a strike. But if you take a larger view of the Astros defense, the outfielders, they're straight up. There's ball 4, and now the Indians have 2 on with 2 out. And up comes Yonder Alonso.
First walk for Morton tonight. I'm going to send along congratulations to John and Sue Wilgus. John is, they're celebrating their 43rd wedding anniversary, and he's a media relations assistant here at the press box. Has been here for, this is his 42nd year. So John and Sue, congratulations, happy anniversary. And he'll be home tonight with some goodies, I'm sure.
Yonder Alonso is the 7th man to bat in the inning. And the reason that's significant is because when the Indians faced Morton in Houston, the most hitters they sent to the plate in any inning was 6. And that was in the very last inning he pitched. That was in the 7th inning when Encarnacion homered off of him. And then they had a couple of hits before he struck out Greg Allen to end that inning. So already 7 men to the plate here in the 3rd.
And remember, Allen smoked that ball to the left center field. That was an out that Marisnik had to make a nice catch on.
So they've had some good swings here, 2nd time through the order. Gets away. Oh, but Brantley didn't get a great read, and it didn't really bounce that far away.
No, I don't know if he would have been able to make that one. That just got to the grass. And it's really tough to pick up that ball from 3rd where here's a good angle. See how far, you see, it doesn't look like it's far enough to go. No. You sit back, you got to see some daylight. I mean, some real daylight if you're going to take off and make a mad dash. And you know what? You got to make up your own mind. You can't listen to Mike Sarbaugh there. You got to do it before he even tells you to go.
Down and in at the back foot. He did not go. 2 balls and a strike. With the runner at third, Bregman, the third baseman, forced to stay even with the bag right there at the cut of the grass. Last time up, he was nowhere to be found, and Alonso just dumped the bunt down the third baseline. And a liner to short will end the inning. Correa comes up with the catch, but the Indians score a pair on 3 hits. The last of which a big 2-out, 2-run single by Michael Brantley.
After Houston leaves town, and on Memorial Day at 4 o'clock, it's going to first 15,000 fans will receive a Corey Kluber Cy Young bobblehead. That is courtesy of KeyBank, and all you have to do is just go to Indians.com to get your tickets. Memorial Day finally here. The weather's warm, getting nice.
Yes, indeed. 4th inning, 2-0 Cleveland. Carlos Correa to lead off for Houston. Swinging at the first pitch, a high drive to right field and deep. Melky Cabrera back just shy of the wall, makes the catch. 1 down.
Ball had some carry to it.
Yeah. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. Here's your AL earned run average leaders. How about the Astros?
It's sprinkled there. The top 3 with Astros, and then you'll see Bauer, Kluber, Clevenger in there as well. Dominated by these 2 teams for starters. Pretty good ERAs right there.
Reynaldo Lopez representing the AL Central as well. Well, I think the big key for the Indians is not just getting Andrew Miller back, they're getting him back to where he was. And last night in Chicago, he looked like more like Andrew Miller.
No, and the slider was there, and that's what you're used to seeing from him.
Good fastball velocity too, and
it was really a good way to end that road trip. I mean, the kid Pletko, he pitched a gem. Again, 2 starts, 2 wins, and that's the game. You have to win games 1-0, 2-1 sometimes. They haven't been doing that this month. They did it earlier in the year, and they'll get back to it. But those are the 2 guys, Miller and Allen. You get straightened out, and I think everything else will fall into place. They'll find their guys that can pitch the 7th and 6th and 7th innings.
Marwin Gonzalez struck out in the second inning and takes a look at a breaking ball.
Another 0-2 count for Clevenger.
Mike Clevenger has struck out 4. He has walked 2. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field, and that snaps. And 0 for 7 for Marwin Gonzalez, and a 1-out base runner for the Astros. Our great clip of the game from last night. Let's take a look back at Adam Pletko's performance.
Working that curveball spot in the fastball. A slider was good to the right-handed hitters. You know, and his command early in the game was a little scary. He had 4 walks in the first 2 innings, but boy, when he got out of that inning and he had to face John Lester, he locked it in, found that arm slot, and went to work.
You know, he told Andre after the ball game that getting the bunt down sort of helped him relax a little bit. Let some of the butterflies and the anxiousness just dissipate.
Well, I'll tell you what, he not only did it once, he did it twice.
Well, hitting did everything for him, guys. He said he didn't know he had a no-hitter until the second time he came up to hit, and he looked up at the scoreboard and said, wait a minute. There's 6 hits for us. There's none for the Cubs. I mean, but what does that say about a player that took him hitting to get him locked in the pitch?
Well, it just gets your mind away from something else. Let me ask, I heard he's now our bunting coach.
He should be. Well, do you know what his batting average was in high school?
No.
He knew it right off the top of his head. Last time his coach let him hit was his junior year of high school, as I told you guys
right.
2009. He said he hit 187. So he said right then, his
perfect coach.
Yeah, his folks told him, you better get this pitching thing down because it all make hitting is your thing.
Well, I just thought it was unbelievably great that he has not picked up a bat since his junior year in high school and was able to lay down 2 bunts off John Lester of all people.
The story is great when you really get to know Pletko and everything that he's gone through to get here to this point. Even talking to Trevor Bauer today, they pitched together at UCLA, and obviously Garrett Cole will go on Sunday. All 3 of those guys, those are the top 3 pitchers for UCLA a couple of years back. Imagine going into a weekend having to face that, and look where they all are at right now.
Well, I mean, that's pretty impressive, the amount of pitching that program has put out. 3-1 to count for Yuli Gurriel. Gurriel, a base hit in the second inning. He's hit in 19 of his last 23 games.
This guy, he hits right-handers better than left-handers. You know, you would think it might be the other way around. He's a tough out for a right-handed pitcher.
Double play ball. Kipnis to Lindor.
Nice.
On to Alonso, and once again the Tribe turns 2 for the second inning in a row. And the Astros have now hit into 44 double plays on the year.
Video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
couple of double plays turned defensively by the Indians in the last 2 innings have helped Mike Clevenger along. Meanwhile, the Indians scoring twice off Charlie Morton in the 3rd on a 2-run single by Michael Brantley. Here's Melky Cabrera, who fouled out his first time up. And he rockets one into right field. And it's kicked around by Springer. Melky's going to go for 2. And the throw is in time. I like the hustle because he saw the ball skip away from him, didn't feel it cleanly, and he thought like he could get to second base, challenge the arm, and Springer made a good throw, and he does have a good arm.
Well, yes, he's a good outfielder, and there it was. He never even got leather on it. He kicked it, and he booted it again, and that's when Cabrera made the decision he was going to run, but a pretty good throw. He was trying to go to the inside. You know what? It looked like Milky tried to kick it in afterwards. Maybe between home and first, he didn't really think double until he saw the boot. And that enabled Springer to make the throw and get him out. And there's Tito having a word with him.
Well, now Jason Kipnis. Looks at a breaking ball down low. Kipnis struck out his first time up. He's hit in 4 straight, 6 of his last 7. And he's reached base safely in 12 games in a row.
Morton has 3 strikeouts tonight, and all 3 have come on 3 pitches. The one to Brantley in the first, and the 2 in the second. One to Encarnacion and one to Kipnis.
2 balls and a strike. Morton backs away and says, let's try this again. Swung on and missed. 2-2.
Let me send out some birthday wishes. Joseph Svenke of Sherman, New York, turning 90. Barbara Werner of Mentor on the Lake is 80. Billy Lee Karkosiak is 70. And Butch and Edie Cunningham celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. Congratulations and happy birthday to you all.
Up and away from Charlie Morton. Full count. And the payoff pitch is pulled foul. Well, with the Indians 2 runs in the 3rd inning. In the first 3 innings of their games played this year, the Astros are plus 22 in run differential. The Indians are plus 26. But the big inning for Cleveland early in games has been the first. They're plus 20 in the first inning of games.
They used to love doing that last year as well.
Yeah. Now the payoff. Kipnis fouling it back.
That's about what you want to do with that fastball with 2 strikes, is just get a piece of it to stay alive. Because his curveball is so good and he goes to it so often, I think, when he has 2 strikes to left-handed hitters. But like I said, it's hard to sit on and maybe catch up with the fastball. That's what you're going to have to do with it. Maybe not get a base hit. Try and hit that fastball early in the count.
And Jason Kipnis draws a walk. It's the second issued by Morton.
Get a walk. That's a nice at bat. double play that ended last inning, the 4-6-3 variety on the shuffle there.
Roberto Perez singled and then came around to score in the third. He looks at a curveball that falls in for a strike. Chops one up the gut. Now Tuve with an easy inning-ending double play turn. 4 complete. Cleveland 2, Houston nothing.
Turn the drive TV now.
Is brought to you by the 2018 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. And by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's.
2-0 Cleveland, 5th inning. Bottom third of the order due here for the Astros. Mike Clevenger has allowed 3 hits, has struck out 4, and he's walked a pair. Down and in, ball 1 to Brian McCann. McCann popped up on the infield his first time up. But with a speedy runner at first, Jose Ramirez decided to just let the ball drop and then retire the runner on the force out, leaving the slower McCann aboard in that second inning. And it worked out. Ground ball right at Lindor. 1 away. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. For these two teams, outfielders aplenty on the DL.
Yes, they are. Speaking of Bradley Zimmer, any word on that, Andre, today?
Absolutely. I got something for you. He didn't do anything today because the team did not have batting practice outside. But he will. Heads up. All right, we're all good. I was almost going to be on the DL after that one. He will go on a rehab probably on Saturday. Naquin ran sprints today on the field. Chiz was here today. He'll be with Akron tomorrow. He'll play 5 to 7 innings and go back-to-back days. So he'll play Friday and Saturday. Ryan Merritt is in town. And I've got more on Danny Salazar if you'd like to know that as well.
Let's wait till the 0-2 pitch to Marisnick, and we'll reconvene. That's a lot to digest, Andre.
Yes. And I got to make sure my heart's still with me.
All right. So what's up with Danny Salazar?
All right, Danny Salazar is going to come back here to Cleveland, basically. He's still feeling something in his arm. They don't have it figured out what's going on with him, so they want to get back here, and the doctors here want to take a look at him because they're getting to a point where they're just trying to figure out what is going on inside his shoulder. They sent him to Texas. They've had him checked out in Arizona. They've had him checked there. So they're going to bring him here and try to figure something out because every time he gets back to throwing, he says that something is bothering him in that shoulder.
2-2. Almost sounds like it's going to be a lost season.
There's some frustration,
you're
yes.
Closing it on June, and he can't pick up a baseball.
Very frustrated side with the Indians and trying to figure out what is going on with Danny Salazar right now with his injury.
But it sounds like in the very near future they're going to have 3 outfielders coming off the DL. So
yeah, well, that's the problem that Tito talked about. He said with right now Columbus is down in Gwinnett, down in the Atlanta area, so they're going to send some guys to Akron. They're going to send some guys to Eastlake. They're going to try to spread them out because you can't put 3 outfielders in AAA all at once.
In the hole and a base hit for Jake Marisnick. Good at bat for the Astros' number 8 hitter, and he reaches with 1 out here in the 5th. So Houston has had 1 hit in each of the last 4 innings.
Well, he worked hard and he got the fastball enough to his liking where he was able to find a hole, get it under a diving Francisco Lindor. So a 1-out single.
It'll bring up Tony Kemp. Kemp flied to center, hit the ball hard, but I mentioned he hit the ball hard, but so did Greg Allen his first time up. But they were just fly ball outs. Greg Allen, I mean, he's Akeem Olajuwon next to Tony Kemp. Greg Allen is 6 feet tall. Tony Kemp is 5'6". So with guys like that, I would imagine as a hitting coach, as an organization, you try to emphasize more of the line drive approach.
Oh, got him.
Picked him off at first. Jake Marisnick is out number 2.
Yeah, he's got quick feet.
Yes, he does.
You know, he can get it over there, and I'll tell you what, as a base runner, if you don't know it, you better get your lead early and not try and walk off there, because watch his feet are, oh, he was going too. He caught him leaning. That's what happened. And he was able to pick him off. Well done. He held it enough. Watch the feet, the footwork, boom. Fires a strike, and we got him. He did that once on our maybe in his last start at Houston.
I don't know if it was just coincidence, but right as he was picked off, Jose Altuve jumped up into a seat front row, and he is eyeing Mike Clevenger, because if you're one of those guys that's on first and you can run, you want to make sure you don't get duped by those quick feet. And you're trying to look for any kind of tip you can get and hit him. So a 2-out base runner as Kemp is hit by the pitch.
Gonna throw one up and in, and you can see it catches him off the back part of the arm.
Number 4, George Springer.
But that'll give Springer an opportunity. He's been on base twice tonight.
Yeah, Springer stole a base back in the first inning. Only his second of the year. Both of them have come against the Indians. But they don't pay him to run. They pay him to hit, and he can do that. He leads the Astros with 10 home runs, and he is only 1 behind Carlos Correa for the team lead in runs batted in. Kemp takes off.
Had a great jump.
And again, Roberto Perez just cannot get a transfer. So the steal for Kemp is second.
Well, I don't think he would have had a chance at him. He had a great jump. Look at, he was off and running and just put it in your back pocket. But you know what? You're right. Again, he didn't have a grip on that ball coming out. Something he's going to have to work on.
Pitch low and away. 2-0. Low, 3-0. Dangerous spot because Springer's probably not going to spot you one if he likes it. And it was low, ball 4. Third walk issued by Mike Clevenger, and that's going to bring Carl Willis out to the mound and talk things over because you don't want to let this get away, especially with 2 outs in the inning. We're right back here tomorrow night, game 2 of the series. It'll be another great matchup. Corey Kluber, Dallas Keuchel. They squared off in Houston, and Corey Kluber got the better of the Astros left-hander. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Indians Live. And we'll have all the action right here on Sports Time Ohio at 7, and it's also streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Yeah, that last game when Kluber Keuchel, they jumped him early in that first inning. You know, the 2-run homer and had a couple of nice, they scored, I think, 3 in the first. They had a 5-0 lead. It ended up being a 5-4 ball game.
Yeah, Keuchel left after the 5th. Joe Smith gave up a home run. But then the Astros used the long ball themselves, a 2-run homer, a couple of solo shots. Alex Bregman struck out of the first. He walked in the 3rd. He's hit in 7 straight games for Houston. And the pitch is low, ball 1.
Pretty good hitter with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. 7 for 19. This is where, if you're Mike Clevenger, you want to end this inning right now.
And just missed inside 2-0. That fastball down and away gets a strike, 2-1.
Thick.
Same pitch, same result. And he's come back to even the count of 2-2.
There's a little low dart on the outside corner. Every pitcher to be able to have that pitch in his back pocket to go there when he gets 2-0 or 3-1 and falls behind. Throw that low outside dart for a strike.
Fouled back out of play. You know, it's funny. These are the little things along the way that you wonder, like, what keeps a pitcher from getting what they call deep into a game. Clevenger has 2 outs. He hits Tony Kemp. He walks George Springer, and those pitches just accumulate, and that shows up later in the game.
Yeah, it takes an inning away from you at sometimes, and sometimes 2.
2-2 pitch. Hit pretty well. Deep left field, and the Houston Astros have just taken the lead.
Hung him a breaking ball.
3-run homer for Alex Bregman. His 5th of the year, his 2nd against the Indians. And it's 3-2 Houston.
And you mentioned it, 2 outs. This is when it started. And again, that was a lot like that 7th inning back in Houston for him.
Self-inflicted.
Yes, it was, because you had the 2 outs, you got the 9th place guy up, you hit that guy, you walk the leadoff guy, and then you hang a breaking ball, and it's 3 quick ones on the board when you had a chance to get out of the inning, and that was a spinner. That is not coming back. So Bregman, his 5th.
And Altuve takes a strike. He's 0 for 2, has struck out, grounded into a double play. One and one. Nice curveball in for a strike. And Clevenger's ahead 1-2. Out of play, right side. Tyler Olson grabbed the baseball, starting to loosen up, left-hander. This is one of those games in that the home run allowed by Clevenger certainly takes some air out of the balloon, but it's not like you didn't see this coming necessarily. He got out of a mess in the 3rd inning with a double play ball, had a double play in the 4th inning. He's had traffic to deal with in every inning. Lindor throws him out. That ends the inning. And not before Alex Bregman, with a blast to the bleachers, puts the Astros ahead 3-2. One of the many concession stands here at Progressive Field, featuring a local fair. Down and in, ball one to Greg Allen as the Indians now trail by a run here in the bottom of the fifth.
I'll see if they can get aboard and get right back into this game. Answer that 3-run top half of the fifth.
1-0 pitch. He's up and away. 2 balls, no strikes. Last 8 games, Greg, 8 hits and 25 at bats. Now the 2-1. And off the plate, 3 balls and a strike. And the 3-1 pitch. Ground ball. Out number 1. Mid-game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Michael Brantley, a 2-run single in the 3rd inning, plating both Roberto Perez and Francisco Lindor. It stayed that way until the 5th, when with 2 outs, a hanging breaking ball ends up out on the home run porch and Alex Bregman. But the home run puts the Astros ahead 3-2. Top of the order now for Cleveland. Lindor in his last 21 games, so not including tonight, was hitting .396. Eight homers, 17 runs batted in just in that time frame alone. Coming around to score in the 3rd gives him 24 runs scored, and now his last 22 games.
Yeah, he really set that inning up for the Indians after Perez had the leadoff single. There was 1 out, and he hit one into left center field to make it 2nd and 3rd, and Brantley took advantage of it.
Morton's 1-2 is fouled away by Lindor. He shot that pitch in the 3rd inning to left field and split the outfielders, and really gave the Indians a jolt and sent Roberto Perez to 3rd, and then Brantley followed with the 2-run single right up the middle. And that's been a staple of Lindor in the last several weeks. Hitting the ball to left field, hitting the ball to right field.
And that's about all you could do with that pitch right there, is just foul it off. He went down and then with a curveball, and then threw that fastball up and away. See if he comes back with a curveball down and in again. Yes. Morton, the first time through the lineup, he threw 32 pitches. Second time, 32 pitches.
Bounced out in front of the plate, 2-2. Double in the 3rd. The Indians team leader in doubles, Lindor, now with 17. And that ball is in the hole, but a diving stop by Correa, and he robs him. Just straight thievery right there. Second time that there's been a play where the shortstop Correa and the second baseman Altuve have nearly had a collision.
Yeah, one dives for it, the other one dives a little bit behind him, and Correa, the taller one, gets it.
I think what enabled that play to happen is Altuve saw him out of the corner of his eye and realized he had a better shot at it, and he just peeled back just enough to avoid any kind of contact. So with 2 down, here's Michael Brantley. Brantley extending his hitting streak to 13 games. With that 2-run single in the 3rd. Shoots one the other way. Down the line it goes. Just foul.
We had a good look at that ball from our angle, and you could see the slice on it. You know, that ball was in fair territory for a long time, but right at the end, it's got the way you swing it, you get a little deeper into your, let it track a little deeper into your zone, and it has that spin to it. But it missed by about a foot.
Brantley in the hole, 0-2. Spoils it to stay alive. Michael is now batting .381 this year here at Progressive Field.
You can see he's at 7th career hit streak of 13 or more games. He's no stranger to hit streaks.
Struck him out. Indians go in order. 3-2 Astros as we head to the 6th.
Well, 12,500 fans will receive a Terry Francona 1988 Indians jersey. That'll be courtesy of Sugardale. That'll take place Saturday night. You can come on out to the district pregame. It's presented by Budweiser. Stay after the game for fireworks. Visit Indians.com for your tickets.
Carlos Correa looks at a curveball inside. Indians have action in the pen as Correa looks at a pitch to make the count 1-1.
You know, after Cleve got 2 outs last inning and he hit the Kemp 9th plate, 16 pitches to get the third out.
Yeah.
And that's an inning that we were talking about.
And it cost him the lead. More importantly.
And that was the first hit he allowed with a runner on base today. Was that one right there? One little spinner that stayed up.
2-2. Slapped into right field, and Carlos Correa has his first hit of the night. And the Astros have their leadoff man aboard for the second time tonight.
The hitter now for the Astros, the first baseman,
Marwin Gonzalez singled his last time up. Houston has had a base runner in every inning, and they've had at least a hit in each of the last 5 innings. The only other time their leadoff man was aboard was in the first when George Springer got the leadoff walk. Gonzalez went 3 for 9 against the Indians with a home run in last weekend's series in Houston. And he's a better than 300 career average hitter against Tribe pitching. That covers now 31 games. Chopped to first. Yonder Alonso will step on the bat. That's the first out of the inning.
stepping in now for Houston, the designated hitter, HOU.
Fouled right back.
Mentioned how this team tries to score a little bit later. They do just that, because when they go through the lineup, first time through they're averaging 243, second time's 270, and the third time's 282.
And a line drive base hit in the left field. Brantley will get to it quickly. Stopping at third is Correa. And the ball skips away, but the runners hold. First and third, one down.
It's going to be a breaking ball again, and Gurriel's a good breaking ball. That one was off the plate, but he keeps his hands back as well as anybody and gets it into left field. And that's going to end the night for Mike Clevenger.
So the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made. Mike Clevenger will exit, and left-hander Tyler Olson will be coming on when we come back. It's 3-2 Astros here in the 6th. Well, the Indians right now trying to hold the Astros at bay. Houston up 3-2, but they've got 2 on with 1 out. And on comes Tyler Olson to face Brian McCann. Mike Clevenger went 5 1/3 and exits after 105 pitches on the night.
They're going to pinch hit for Brian McCann. Max Stassi coming on. He's 0 for 4 as a pinch hitter right here. And boy, Olson would love to get himself a ground ball. 1 pitch, turn 2. They've done it twice today. Keep this a 1-run ball game.
Ground ball to third. Oh, it goes by Ramirez, and scoring from third is Correa, and it's now 4-2 Houston.
Well, he got the ground ball, and it just got under the glove of Ramirez. Not to say that it was an easy play, but there it is. It's right there and just out of his reach. I don't know if that ball took a hop on him or one he didn't expect it to take, but it gets by him to go to left field, and back comes Tito.
We've got a timeout for another pitching change. It's 4-2 Houston in the 6th. You'll get an Indian cycling jersey, and all the proceeds benefit cancer research at Cleveland Clinic. Visit belisauto.org/Indians for details on joining their team. Jake Marisnick, the batter. Neil Ramirez out of the bullpen for the Indians. Houston up 2. They have 2 on, 1 out. Pitches outside for ball 1.
Well, for Houston now, we talked about them through the middle part of the ball game. Now, through innings 4, 5, and 6, they have outscored their opponents 95-42. 53 run differential, plus 53 for Houston.
In off the plate. Foul back our way. And the 2-1 from Neil Ramirez has swung out and missed to even the count.
Pretty good heater right there.
He has a good fastball.
Threw it right by Marisnik there in the hitter's count.
Now the 2-2. Hit pretty well deep center field.
Callis.
Back is Greg Allen. He's on the track. He's out of room, and it's out of here. And the Astros have just blown it wide open. 3-run home run for Jake Marisnik. And a 4-run sixth for the Astros. Well, they now lead it 7-2 here in the 6th inning.
He did not throw that fastball by him. And it was a fastball down in the zone, and he took it to straightaway center field. And that one hurts right there. The base hit, but that one was pretty much middle of the plate. And he was just called up yesterday because Reddick was put on the disabled list. And boy, pays dividends right here.
Well, innings 4, 5, and 6. That's where the Astros make hay, and they've done it again here tonight. He went too far, says Tony Randazzo. 0-2 on Tony Kemp. Three-run homers go a long way to winning you games.
Sure they do.
Astros have hit 2 on the night.
Back-to-back innings.
To Kipnis. 2 down.
Counter now for the Astros.
You watch him get down and hit this fastball right to the barrel of the bat, and he stayed on it and got through it straightaway center field, deepest part of the ballpark, and got it out of here.
Swing and a miss. A.J. Hinch just sitting back watching his offense do their thing here tonight. Foul back our way. And a base hit in the right field. So the inning continues, and the 8th man to bat will be Alex Bregman.
Now, that first 3-run home run, it was a hanging breaking ball. But when you look, you'll see it on StatCast, 385 feet. But watch how the bat stays through the hitting area on the side swing. No uppercut. Boy, you have to get on top of the ball, which he did. It was up, and it was a hanging breaking ball, but he took advantage of it and crushed it. 3 runs, 1 swing.
Throws it by him. Strike 1. Neil Ramirez, no one has probably ever said that he doesn't have the velocity to get the job done. But the location, a different story. He's been with the Cubs, the Giants, the Brewers, Twins, the Mets, now with the Indians. And, you know, for any relief pitcher that has joined this club, opportunity is there.
Yes, it is. You want to pitch more innings, you've got to get hitters out in situations.
In the last 11 games, so count tonight, so the last 12 games, that's 6 home runs allowed by the bullpen. Runner goes. Throw down by Perez. Not in time. George Springer has his second stolen base of the night. All 3 of his steals this year have been against the Indians.
Well, right now there's 2 outs. They're trying to get that last out. That's just a 7-2. I'm taking off.
And the 2-1 to Bregman. That's hit well in the alley, right center field. Nobody will catch that. One hops to wall. Springer scores. Bregman into second. And the Astros continue to pound the baseball.
Yeah, the route is on now.
It's going to be it for Ramirez. Jose Altuve will be the 9th man to bat in the inning. Latino's going back to the bullpen. It will be the Indians' 4th pitcher of the inning when we come back. Put the barrel to the baseball. And Alex Bregman, who has 4 runs batted in on the night, drives one up the right center field alley, more towards center.
Yeah, just a nice level swing, and those 4 RBIs coming in the last 2 innings. Last 2 at bats. 3-run homer, 2 out RBI double. We'll bring on Oliver Drake. As you mentioned, the 4th pitcher in this inning. Clevenger went out there to start it. He faced 3 hitters, gave up 2 hits, and was pulled. Olson came out. He faced 1 hitter, gave up a base hit and an RBI. He left. And then Ramirez came in, and he gave up 3 hits.
Jose Altuve is 0 for 3 tonight. Altuve could be considered the cornerstone for the Houston Astros as he pops one back out of play. He was part of the 2011 Houston Astros club. That was his first year in the big leagues. That team lost 106 games. The next year, he was part of a team that lost 107. The following year, part of a team that lost 111. Wow. The year after that, they lost 92. So in his first 4 years in Major League Baseball, he was part of teams that lost 418 games combined. And I'll bet even in his wildest imagination, he could not have dreamed that 3 years later he'd be sitting on top of the baseball world.
Yeah, no kidding.
Part of a 100-win team.
And he's been out there and he's been through it all. Well, he was part of the plan. He was one of the, you know, the foundations for their plan, and where they were going to turn it around. They had a lot of #1 draft picks that clicked, that hit. They did a good job in that area. Coming on throughout a couple of trades, supposedly they got a pretty good farm system.
Oh, nice block by Perez. But imagine you're sitting around the offices with the Astros with all the baseball people.
Right.
I'm sure somebody probably felt strongly about Altuve, but somebody says this is going to be the building block that sets us to a world championship, and somebody goes, what, this guy, he's 5'6"? Are you kidding me?
And 4 straight years of 200 hits. I mean, you can't help but like the guy, and I'll tell you what, not many hitters in all of baseball can get the barrel of the bat to the baseball like this guy can. I mean, he's just a pure hitter.
Oliver Drake induces a pop-up, shallow center. Greg Allen is there to make the catch. The Astros send 9 men to the plate here in the 6th, and they score 5 to take command of the game. Memorial Day and an absolutely gorgeous night at the ballpark, 74 degrees at game time. But unfortunately, the Astros have broken free here in the middle innings. 3 in the 5th, 5 more in the 6th. And as the Indians come to bat here in their home half of inning number 6, Jose Ramirez to lead it off. And a pitch outside, ball 1. Charlie Morton. The Indians, they got to him in the 3rd. scored a couple of runs, and they've had opportunities here tonight. They had a 2-0 lead, but
well, it got away quickly. You know, Clevenger couldn't close it out after he hit the 9th place hitter with 2 outs and threw 16 more pitches, but they gave up the big 3-run home run, and then they just come out and piled on the next inning.
4-pitch walk to Ramirez.
Down to the plate for the Indians, the designated hitter.
You look at Morton tonight, and we told you the curveball is a very effective pitch for him, especially the left-handers. He gave up 1 hit to Michael Brantley that got him their 2 runs on the curveball. It's only his 3rd hit against a left-hander this year with that hook. And I mean, it's gone up. He's throwing about 30%, maybe more than that tonight, of the curveballs. And that's been a devastating pitch for him, man. Yeah, knee buckler right there.
The 0-1 to Edwin. Swung out and missed. I mean, he swung at that curveball a couple times tonight where it hasn't even been close. That was almost in the other batter's box. And he's down 0-2. I mean, the conversation we had before about his velocity, the spike in velocity, and, you know, at his age is just, I'm not going to say it's unheard of, but it's certainly very unusual. And what takes it a step further is that, okay, maybe you reach back, maybe you can get it once in a while, but he maintains
consistently,
it.
yeah.
I mean, we're talking about that's the average fastball velocity,
right,
is at 97 miles an hour.
Well, that curveball has been so good for him this year. You can see why he doesn't want to overuse it, but because he has that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, but you got to look for that fastball early, and then it's all breaking balls late. At least it has been tonight.
George Springer will make the catch in right field for out number 1.
You know, when you look at the chart of his pitches, and you can see the fastball is 58% of the time. The curve is, you know, 28, a little under 30%. And today it's about 37%. That little cutter, and then that split's a nice pitch for him too. That's almost like his change of pace. I don't know. I know one thing. He's 6-0. He's got an ERA under 2. He's doing something right. And he fits into a rotation when they have the #1 guys like Verlander. Cole follows him. And then another Cy Young winner that we will see tomorrow, the left-hander. I'll tell you what, this staff is it's one of the better ones around, and you know, they're making cases that it could be one of the best ever. Only time will tell. There's Dallas Keuchel. He'll start tomorrow night against Corey Kluber.
Yeah, the Indians don't see Justin Verlander, and his start to the year has been incredible.
Yeah,
at age 35, it's not that you're surprised when you see Verlander do anything, because he has truly been the very definition of a horse. I mean, the guy just, he logs innings every year. He throws with velocity every year.
He's an animal.
And he's very rarely, if ever, hurt.
Yeah. No. This guy, he's just as good. If I think he's having a better start now than he did with his MVP and Cy Young year. Off to a good start in his 11 starts. He's 6-2 with a 1.08 ERA.
How do you lose 2 games when your ERA is barely
Well, I
over
think he
1,
got
right?
beat 1-0 one time or something like that. But it is one of their pitches that they know, at least the Indians. They have had as much success against Verlander as any team in baseball.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Alonso. 5th strikeout for Charlie Morton, and go figure. Indians play the Astros 7 times this year, and they won't see Verlander once.
Yeah. Well, another curveball and another strikeout. You can see the spin on it and the break to it. The velocity off of it. It's probably anywhere between, I'd say, 15 to 20 miles slower than his fastball.
Melky Cabrera base hit his last time up, tried to stretch it to a double and was thrown out. Pop to left. Inning over. We'll go to the 7th, 8-2 Houston. Baseball is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Seventh inning here at Progressive Field, and the Astros up 6. And Oliver Drake got the final out of the 6th inning. It stays on to pitch here in the 7th. Carlos Correa leading off, takes a strike. One thing about Houston, and it's been well documented, so we're not really talking about anything new here, but those 4 straight years where they got decimated by the competition enabled them to stockpile some of the top draft picks year after year, and they didn't hit on every single one of those.
No,
but they've hit on
does anybody
more than their fair share. And you get a Carlos Correa, you get a George Springer. As Correa strikes out, 1 down. Oh, it's time for a game break. Here's Al Pawlowski.
All right, Matt, Rick, let's head down to Tampa Bay and Boston here. And so far, so good for the Rays against Porcello. Wilson Ramos, a couple of RBIs. There's one of them. It's 5-0 Tampa Bay. Blake Snell, a one-hitter right now for Tampa. They're in the 4th inning. Make it 6-0. Rays just added another guy, so the Rays looking pretty good here in the month of May.
Yeah, they've been playing some pretty good baseball down there.
Marwin Gonzalez takes a strike. Ouch, you can hear him run all the way up here.
You know it went off his foot, or he has a pad there on that right shin, and that's exactly where it went off. Oh, above it though. It went above it. That one did not feel good. That it didn't hit the padding. Yeah, he pointed right to it. Thank you, Marwin, for doing that. We saw exactly where it hit you. He's going to have a nice little mark there with some seams in about another hour by the time this game is over. Just try to get some feeling back in it. Not much you can say as a manager. Yeah, you're all right. Okay.
You know, you guys were talking a little bit about the Astros and what they went through to get to the point of where they're at and going through all the losses. Before the season, Andrew Miller was talking about free agency and how players were frustrated with free agency. And the point he made to me was that he thinks because the Astros won, there were teams this past offseason that said, let's try the Astros way. Let's break it all the way down, build through the draft, not sign free agents that maybe we would sign in the past, and see if we can build a championship team in 3 years or 2 to 3 years. He felt if the Dodgers would have won, the teams would have continued doing things the way that they've always done it. That was just Andrew Miller's thoughts when he was talking about what happened in free agency in this offseason and how frustrated a lot of veterans were with what happened in free agency.
Well, there are a lot of teams that are not doing very well early this year.
Right.
I could see how you could think like that, but I will say one thing. It'll take you longer than 2 to 3 years if you're going to have to build it through the draft.
Well, you even when you were talking about Altuve, I kind of chuckled to myself because I said, you know, when Altuve first started playing for the Astros, they didn't know he was Altuve. You know, he was just a guy playing as they were losing those 105, 106 games a year. But it was interesting from the Andrew Miller point and the Players Association point of view. They thought it was great that the Astros won, but they think a lot of those guys think that changed how free agency went this past offseason.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's easy to say, look at what the Astros did. That's the blueprint. Right. Let's copy and do what they did. I mean, but it didn't happen overnight. I just told you, 400 losses in 4 seasons. That's a lot of getting kicked in the face.
Yeah. And how many owners and how many franchises can take that type of patience to get to this point?
Not many.
No.
And it's not like they knew that was going to work. Swung on and missed. Down goes Gurriel. And Oliver Drake retires the side in order. Stretch time here in Cleveland. Indians down 8-2. Texas Rangers host the Kansas City Royals. Coverage beginning at 4 Eastern on FS1. Then some of the biggest stars in baseball right here on this field will be seen on Fox at 7 Eastern when the Indians host the Houston Astros. Charlie Morton, his night over after 6 innings of work, and that's just smart. You try to save maybe a little wear and tear. You've got a 6-run lead. You turn it over to your bullpen.
Game in hand. Hector Rondon, former Indian, will take them out. Now, we told you earlier, we told you about their starters, Houston. They have the best bullpen in the league, too. So you got to get those guys work, and they will in this 8-2 ball game.
Jason Kipnis will lead off for Cleveland. Hector Rondon, one-time very promising Indians prospect. Derailed in the early stages of his development by Tommy John surgery, but eventually overcame that. It was a Rule 5 draft pick. And now finds himself a member of the defending world champs. To left, deep, Kemp back near the line, leaps up. Are you kidding me? Did he hold on to it?
Yes, he did.
He made an unbelievable catch right there. And is he okay? Well, he appears that he is. That was phenomenal. He's going full blast. No chance really to slow down or brace himself, and he hangs on.
He made one of those plays in Houston against us. In left field, the same thing. He got over to the line, and then he jumped and ended up holding on to that ball.
It's a long way to go for that baseball.
Yes, it is. But he ends up making a nice running catch.
Hector Rondon says thank you very much.
He took a hit away from Michael Brantley in Houston. Same thing, almost the same play, except it was a little closer, that wall in Houston.
You're talking about building through the draft. Kemp was a 5th round pick. And, you know, that's the other mystery or wild card element of baseball, if you will, and that is that you can get good players in later rounds, but you know, is that more a case where your player development turns those guys into great players, or is it, you know, is there some good luck? You just
I think a little of both. I think it's a little of both. You have to have a little luck. You have to have some people that you know, that come up through your farm system, that you have your way about it. Look, you can't tell, you know, how many guys are going to get hurt or if something like that, injuries, and if they come back, and you really can't tell how much a guy really wants it.
You know, we all this talk about tanking and trying to get the draft picks. I mean, the Indians, they've taken their lumps, but it's not like I can remember them purposely just going into the tank to try and get maybe the #1 pick in the draft. But you know, they drafted Lindor, they drafted Kipnis, they signed Jose Ramirez. You know, your cornerstone players, your building blocks, you've got to be able to develop those guys from within, because it's just too darn expensive to try and go out and buy them or even trade for them, because it would cost you an armful of prospects to even go and get one of those.
The Indians have done very well in that department, man. When you trade people and you get some guys, they got Corey Kluber, they got Carlos Carrasco, they got Michael Brantley. You think about
great,
that.
absolutely.
That's where they've really made their hay. And then you mix in a couple of your own draft picks, and that goes a long way.
2 down for Greg Allen. You look at the Astros. You know, Carlos Correa was the 1st overall pick in 2012. Alex Bregman was the 2nd overall pick in 15. George Springer was the 11th overall pick in 11. So there's 3 high 1st-round draft picks.
Everyday players.
And they hit on all 3 of them. Now, again, they haven't hit on them all. There was a pitcher, Appel,
Mark Appel.
Missed on that one, and I think there was
another
first-round
pitcher.
pick.
Yes, there was.
Didn't pan out for. But hey, you know, as you said,
not
don't
everybody. Yeah,
nail it. I mean, Jose Altuve, as Andre said, you know, he wasn't even a guy when he first got up. They turned him away from the tryout camp when he was a kid, when he was just trying to, hey, can I try out? They said, no, you're too small, go home. They made him go home.
Came back the next day, though. They didn't.
That guy's one of the best hitters in baseball. Greg Allen slaps one to left. Cut off by the 3rd baseman, Bregman, but he won't throw out the speedy Indians outfielder, who reaches with a 2-out single.
Well, Bregman showed you he's a shortstop too by trade, and that play right there. There you go. You stay on the baseball. They're playing that shift. He gets over there, can't get enough on the throw to get the Speedy Allen. So it'll be an infield single.
Lindor. 1 for 3. He doubled and scored. Chopped on the right side. Altuve will go to first. And we'll head to the 8th. 8-2, Houston.
Took a 2-0 lead, 8-2 the score now as we welcome you back to center field along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski, Boy Jensen tonight. The Indians with some offense early, but then the Astros got it rolling, and they got it rolling against the bullpen too.
Well, they had a hit by pitch with 2 strikes that really turned that 5th inning around, but some other critical sequences from the bullpen unable to keep this game within range.
We'll talk about it coming up right after the game, brought to you by Indians Live. From Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Make sure you join us for that. Matt and Rick, take it away.
All right, thanks, guys. Zach McAllister coming on a pitch here for the Indians in the 8th inning. The 3-run homer to the story of the game here tonight. The Astros came into tonight, had 3 3-run homers for the season, and they've hit 2 in the game. And don't forget, this is an Indians team that has clubbed 8 3-run homers this month.
I was going to say they didn't have one until what, the 2nd of May. Well, I will say this: Stassi is the guy that got the base hit when Olsen came in, and he needed a ground ball to get a double play and get out of that inning. It got under the glove of Ramirez, and it went in there. The next one was a 3-run homer, and it put the game out of reach.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the game inches, how close if wish and, you hope everything. Sure. It was really close to being a double play, but Ramirez didn't get to the ball.
Zach McAllister, a fastball strike, and that will do it for Max Stassi.
The batter now for Houston, center fielder Jake Marisnik.
All right. Check out your ballpark app. It's one-stop shop for tickets. You can download from the App Store, get it sent right to your phone, enter the ballpark, ticketless. It's beautiful.
I used to have a collection, I don't know, I might still have it in a shoebox somewhere, of ticket stubs. They tear your ticket in half and take it home with you, keep it. I guess that's the thing of the past.
That is, I mean, now, think about it. You get sent to your phone, and here you go. Let's go. It's like everything. It's beautiful.
Right in.
You don't have to worry about it. Hey, send me some tickets. Send them in the mail. Yeah, right. It takes 2 days. How about 2 minutes?
Right. Or, you know, your buddy says, hey, I've got tickets. I can't use them. Meet me on the corner of 9th and Carnegie, and I'll hand the tickets to you. You had to do it that way.
Stand and wait for him. I got stuck in traffic, man.
Strike three called, 2 down.
Well, there you go. There's the catch he made against Brantley Sunday night in Houston. Now, here you go again. Here's Kipnis. Pretty much the same play. I'll tell you what, he's only been up for about a week and not much longer, maybe 10 days at the most. And I'll tell you what, he's had an impact over there. Just getting an opportunity to play. And you mentioned he had a 5 RBI game.
Yeah, against the Giants.
Yeah, they came to town after we left.
He's got a base hit here with 2 down in the 8th.
Head back now for Houston.
Turn it back to the top of the order, George Springer, who has 2 hits, 2 runs scored on the night, and also 2 stolen bases.
Guys, we've talked about what Springer does in this lineup, and I know it's early on with Kemp, but Arch, could he be a guy that could maybe move Springer out of the leadoff spot and make their lineup a little different with some speed on top?
I think yes. Yes, he could. Throughout time, I'm sure that they love Springer up there because Matt gave us the number today, 20 leadoff home runs since 2016. He can give you 1 swing in the lead. But absolutely, the way from what we've seen of Kemp now, we don't know him that much. It's hard to tell.
I would think it's going to be a ways down the road because right now what he gives you is speed
at the bottom
with Springer at the plate.
Yes, the veteran.
You've got to be very careful now as a pitcher.
That certainly could happen, Andre, but like you say, Springer, he's dangerous. And, you know, you want your best hitters getting all that at-bats, especially right now. But number 9, when you're a young kid and learning from these guys, that makes you like your second leadoff hitter down there because when you get Springer at the plate and he's on like right now, even though it's an 8-2 game and he probably won't run here, you may get Springer more fastballs if he could go out and steal some bases, which he was very successful at doing it in the minor leagues.
Well, the base he stole back in the 5th inning, I mean,
no chance.
It was automatic.
Sure. Like I said, they won't run here 8-2 in the 8th inning.
Tied him up 2-2. Here's the other thing, too, that makes Springer such a valuable leadoff man. Not only the power, but his ability to get on base. He's reached base safely 30 out of the last 36 games he's played. When your leadoff man's getting on, I don't care how he does it. That helps.
Yes, sir. Well, the one thing you have to watch out for Houston. Now, last year, offensively, they were a juggernaut. They were the best offense around. As you can remember, they did everything right. If they get that offense back to that level again, the rest of this year, they're going to be a tough team to catch.
Swing and a miss. McAllister strikes out 3 here in the 8th. Up, we revisit the storylines. Indians averaging over 6 runs a game in the month of May, held to just 2 tonight. And the Astros, and they were leading 2-0. But the Astros got 6 innings from Charlie Morton, and then they blew it open with a pair of 3-run homers. One on the 5th, one on the 6th. Michael Brantley, 1 for 3, 2-run single back in the 3rd. It gave the Indians a 2-0 lead at the time.
HOU, a guy that used to be a starter for them last year, appearing for the 15th time, and he's having a nice year for himself. 17 2/3 innings, a .51 ERA, not giving up many hits at all. And there's 3 pitches.
Brantley strikes out, 1 down. Here's our Mike Bassford Hall of Fame moment for Jim Thome. This was the 1998 American League Championship Series, Game 6, a grand slam for Thome. Part of a 5-run 5th inning. It saw the Indians claw to within 1 run of the Yankees, but New York would pull away and win it by a final score of 9-5. Jose Ramirez, a line drive single into center field. Just thinking about Jim Thome going into the Hall of Fame. The American League Central Division will be well represented, even though some of those guys didn't play in the AL Central, but you figure Jack Morris going in.
Yeah.
Alan Trammell going in. You got the Tigers, the Twins. There's a ball to deep right. Running it down is Springer. Back to first goes Ramirez, 2 down. Chipper Jones, of course, will go in representing the Atlanta Braves.
Right.
Figures to be a great weekend in Cooperstown this summer.
Yeah, we'll get to see one of our own draft picks go in there. That'll be great.
Yeah, and he'll share the stage with, that's some pretty awesome talent right there.
Yes, indeed.
Think about Chipper Jones. He was an unbelievable switch hitter and did it for a long time, consistent year in and year out with the Braves. I mean, Jack Morris, you played against him. You saw him pitch here for many years against the Indians with the Tigers and then with the Twins.
Well, he was never voted in until he got to the
end of the line.
Yeah.
And, you know,
the Veterans Committee got him in.
How cool for him to go in with Alan Trammell.
Absolutely. Yeah, they grew up together, came up about the same time.
And a catch is made, and the side is retired. 8 in the books. 8-2 Houston.
is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. We go to the 9th inning here in Cleveland. 8-2 Astros, and the Indians go to the bullpen. And Josh Tomlin will be the 6th Indians pitcher of the night. Zach McAllister, a scoreless 8th inning, striking out 3.
Number 9, Eric Gonzalez, now in the game, playing shortstop. Number 26, Rajay Davis.
Defensively, Eric Gonzalez will give Lindor a breather at short. Rajay gives Michael Brantley an inning off in left. And Alex Bregman will lead off for Houston. We mentioned that Tomlin is the 6th pitcher to work here tonight. Where this game got away from the Indians was in the 6th inning when Tito had to call on 4 pitchers to get 3 outs. And as you pointed out, they were maybe inches away from an inning double play that could have changed the whole complexion of this game, but it didn't happen.
You know what? When you're sitting out there and you're a player and you're on that field and you look at it, you're looking for a ground ball, you're an infielder, you're waiting for it, and the pitcher makes his pitch, he gets a ground ball, but it's just out of your reach or it just goes under your glove, man. You're talking about that much, and it could be a double play, but it wasn't. And the inning went on, and that's when it caved in. It was a 5-run inning, or it would have been a 3-2 ball game. But little things like that, you get over, you move on. Hey, it didn't happen, but the thought process was there. And believe me, the baseball gods are with every team like that for a while.
This one's right at Ramirez.
Yeah, now you don't care.
Well, here's our Pat O'Brien Chevrolet plays of the game. A pair of 3-run homers for the Astros. They had 3 on the year coming into the night. Alex Bregman hit a 3-runner in the 5th.
He hit the ninth hitter, and he had to go 16 pitches.
And this was in the 6th. Jake Marisnik, that was turn the lights out.
Sure. 2 swings.
Altuve right to Ramirez. Low throw, and nice job by Alonso.
Well, he saved him, and there's Ramirez. He was down on his knees saying, oh my goodness, he knew he didn't get enough on it. Alonso made a pick like that last night in the game, but this is watch this ball low, and he goes down to his knees. You know, he didn't really get his momentum going, and there it was, a nice pick to save him.
Very rarely do you see Ramirez throw an errant ball on the infield.
He got helped out by his partner over there at first.
Now Carlos Correa, 1 for 4. To Gonzalez. And a 1-2-3 ninth for Josh Tomlin. Indians' last chance when we come back.
For Cleveland, it'll be Melky Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, and Roberto Perez due up. And Cabrera takes a strike. Colin McHugh worked a 1-2-3. I'm sorry, he worked a scoreless 8th inning. He did allow the base hit to Jose Ramirez, but he stays on for the 9th as well. And Melky Cabrera takes a strike. It's 0-2. Right back here tomorrow night. Let's see if the Indians can bounce back. It'll be a phenomenal matchup. Again, Corey Kluber, 7-2 at 2.36 ERA on the year. Dallas Keuchel, left-hander, going for Houston.
Look out, Sarby.
He's got those quick feet there.
You better have.
Swung on and missed. One down. When Kluber and Keuchel matched up in Houston, it was a terrific ball game. Kluber went 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs in that game, and struck out 10 Astros hitters. Keuchel, on the other hand, went 5 innings, and he allowed 4 runs. As Arch told you earlier, the Indians punched him in the first. They got 3 runs on 4 hits. And then had to hold on for dear life late as the Astros made a bid against the Tribe bullpen. They closed it to a run in the 9th, but that was as close as they got. Hope to have you with us tomorrow night. 6:30, our coverage begins with Indians Live. And there are 2 down here in the 9th.
Getting down for the drive, number 55.
Gonna bring up Roberto Perez. Roberto 1 for 3 on the night. He singled and scored a run back in the 3rd when the Indians took a 2-0 lead. Smash to second. Altuve. Indians go in order, and the Astros take the opener. They've won 3 of 4 from Cleveland now on the year. The final tonight is 8-2 as Houston goes to 33-18. They stay atop the AL West. The Indians fall back to 500 at 24-24, but they will also stay atop the AL Central. Charlie Morton, the winner, he is 7-0. The loss to Mike Clevenger, his 2nd straight. He falls to 3-2 on the year. Well, again, we've talked about it enough. The 3-run homer killed him tonight, and the bullpen's inability to shut off the Astros' surge in that 6th inning was their ultimate undoing.
Yeah, and you know, going into a game like that, when you're facing an undefeated pitcher like Morton, who's been pitching very well, they were able to draw first blood and get the lead, but they just couldn't shut it down. And you're going to have to play another one of those games like we did last night in Chicago, but it didn't happen tonight. So they'll regroup and get back and try and come tomorrow. You got Kluber on the mound for the Tribe. It's Kluber Day.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll be here tomorrow night with that. For now, let's turn it over to Al and Jensen to break this one down. Again, there's no reason to hang the bullpen out to dry, but, you know, Jensen, the inability to stop the rally was key tonight.
Yeah, I think so, Manny, but some of that responsibility definitely falls at the reliever's feet. Mike Clevenger, you basically make one bad pitch, and that's what ultimately cost you there. But it was predicated by the hit by pitch on an 0-2 count with 2 outs. You could have gotten out of the inning at that point. Perhaps it's a different result. We'll never know. The problem maintains, though, that we continue to see that you can't hold the team in the game when the relievers come in. That's been the overarching problem for this bullpen. Not that they've continued to give up a bunch of runs. It's in the situations that they give up those runs when you've got to hold the other team at bay.
And when you have a team like the Astros that's so good up and down the lineup and also pitching-wise,
can't give them extra outs.
Make a lot of mistakes,
Yeah.
right. They'll take advantage of it. So the Stros a winner here in game 1 of this 4-game set. We'll be coming back with you in just moments for Indians Live. It's brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Stay tuned for that. Houston takes the opener of this 4-game series 8-2. Indians Live next.